We have this mammalian matrix inside of us genetically because we still carry these genes. And it means that whenever we go to sleep, we become like mammals. And while we're asleep, we have this right orientation where we are programmed. But if we compare ourselves to mammals, to, for example, pets, cats, dogs that you may have at home, they don't change their matrix. They can sleep, they can be awake, and they still have the same right orientation and the same programming of the neutrino stream. But for human beings, for the nine-centered human beings, it changes because we can go to sleep and we change the matrix. And when we don't go to sleep, when we are awake, we are nine-centered beings. The next thing to see is that the sleeper design has 5 centers. It doesn't have a head center, the ajna center, meaning that when we're asleep, our neocortex is sort of cut off. And we don't have ego and we don't have emotional center. You may remember that when you have some vivid, active dreams and you describe them emotionally, you use your emotional center to describe these dreams when you are awake. But when you are asleep, you don't have the emotional center defined. So this emotionality is being added when you are awake to interpret your dreams. Then you have the 15 gates matrix. And comparatively to the Waking Rave, in a Waking Rave, you have 64 gates, meaning that when you go to sleep, you have only 15 gates activated, and these gates are grouped in programming fields, which we're going to look in the next slides. And what's also important, we have here 3 portal gates. 1 gate for each group. And portal gates play an important role because these are the so-called sexy gates, because through these gates, you can get the direct information from the programming fields when you are asleep. And then when you are awake, you can get access to what these programming fields were trying to tell you, right? And when you ask about the calculation, when you look at the Waking Rave, at the usual body graph, the 9-centered 64 gates body graph, here we have the calculation that we have the calculation of the design side, which we do in the moment of 88 degrees of the sun before the birth. And then when you are born and the personality crystal enters the body of the newborn, we have the second calculation. But with the Dream Rave, we have a lunar calculation, which is 88 degrees of the moon. And this is approximately 6 up to 8 days before your birth. For example, my date of birth is June 25. When I was experimenting with calculating my Dream Rave design, I found out that my moon calculation, my lunar calculation happened to be on June 18, 1434. This is the time. So just for you to understand if you want to experiment and play with your calculation. And what's also important to remember is that dreams are very manipulative forces, and dreams are brought by the program. because the program, it doesn't trust us. In what sense? It doesn't trust us to be ourselves and to also be not self. That's why it has to additionally do its work on us while we are asleep. Because yes, the most part of the humanity is not self, it's a homogenized world. And imagine that everyone is their true self, then we probably would not have such a diverse gene pool. And now we are approaching the 2027, when the new type will start to be born, raves. And in order for having this vast and diverse gene pool, the humanity has to be not self and make decisions as not self in order to give birth to as many people as it's possible in order for the new type to be able to come. So this is also something important to understand. And yet it doesn't mean that you cannot be yourself. It means that the program will still affect its influence, its impact while you are asleep. But what you can do is to be aware about who you are and not identify yourself with the dreams, and to navigate correctly, making correct decisions as yourself during the day, while once you are awake. Now, here I want to show you the importance of sleeping alone. And on this slide, you see 4 different matrices. And here I'm going to talk about the interaction of energies during the sleep. When we are born in pentas. And pentas are very absorbing transauric creatures. They are not personal. It's very hard to be yourself in penta, and when you are in penta, you interact through the auras, and through the auras that you get the most conditioning from the other being. Your auras gets conditioned also during sleep. And that's why one of the most important advice that you can get during your foundation reading is to sleep alone. Because when you are asleep, and when you are sleeping alone, you have this chance to decondition your aura. You can facilitate the deconditioning process for your aura. I'm going to use the annotation. So, yes, this matrix is my Dream Rave matrix. So you see that here I am like a reflector. My body and my aura is quite vulnerable. I cannot control who enters my aura. I cannot manage it. I am very open to conditioning, to programming. So there is nothing I can do about it, especially if I sleep around someone. If you look at this one, this is the Dream Rave of my husband. This type of a Dream Rave is quite rare because this is a manifestor Dream Rave type. And this human being is also vulnerable when he's asleep, because when you are asleep, you are unconscious. You cannot make decisions correctly as yourself because you are not awake and you are not aware of the conditioning that you get. And if you see this matrix, this is our composite Dream Rave chart, meaning that when we sleep together, our sacral center doesn't rejuvenate and doesn't regenerate. So we bring our energies together, creating this energetic night cacophony, as Ra would say. And it's not very helpful for him, nor is it helpful for me to mix our auras, to mix our bodies, and then no wonder that he will wake up as someone who's frustrated. I will wake up very bitter and exhausted and trying to get through this extra conditioning. And this one is the Dream Rave chart. It looks like a Dream Rave, but this is basically the body graph of my cat. And I could not experiment with, technically with MMI to add these activations to the composite Dream Rave chart. But whenever my cat is sleeping around me, my sacral is working because she defines my sacral. In a waking life, I have the sacral undefined, and when I go to sleep, I want to fully regenerate. I don't want my sacral to work for me. And it may be challenging because you may love your pets, you may love your partners, but at the same time, it's healthy for you because if you are sleeping alone, you are able to go to sleep correctly as yourself, rejuvenate, discharge your aura from all these energies that you have taken during the day. And then if your partner does the same, the next morning you are able to meet each other as yourselves.